Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the clips of the livestream that happened this weekend. The link to the full-length stream will be in the description, as well as the link to the original story. I have clipped these sections together to make the best time possible for the videos, between 10 and 15 minutes. So, if there is more than one story in this video, they may not have sequentially happened in the stream. But, anyways, hope to see you guys in the next stream. If not, don't worry, there'll be more clips next week. There are also ways to support the channel down below if you so choose to do so. And if you could do all the YouTube gumph for this video to help it in the algorithm, it would be very much appreciated. Anyways, on to the live sci-fi. Please note that the only editing I've done to these clips has been to clip them and boost the audio for better listening. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Story number 1. Ah, hell, not them again. Class 12. What? The senior Reaper cradled his head in his bony hands as the junior Reaper looked on. Glancing at the slate, he saw the report on top. Human F-92, Scotland. Human? What's so bad about them? The senior Reaper sighed. You know the Thanatos scale? The junior Reaper frowned. Why bring that up? Yeah, it's a measurement by which we determine resistance to death, and the ability to resist passing on. One is easy, 10 is highly resistant. Yeah, and humans are at 12. The junior Reaper grunted in amusement. No, seriously. I'm serious. The scale goes up to 12. Humans are just the only ones that qualify. Junior, still skeptical, huffed. What do they do? Run? No. Plead? No. What then? Senior smiled, or did as much of a smile as he could with the animated skull for a face. Why don't you take point on this one? All right. Junior prepared himself. He had prepared for any eventuality. Confusion, denial, fear. It could take some skinny-headed species. Nobody negotiated like him. The portal opened. They stepped through. Frick off! Excuse me, frick off, you skinny bastard! What? Oh! All right, back we go. Senior quickly dragged Junior back through the portal, ignoring the profanity streaming behind them. As soon as they stepped through, Senior whirled Junior around to look at him. His nasal bridge was broken, and aether streamed from the shattered pieces, dissipating in the air. Chip bone floated centimeters away from his face, like a dust in a still room. She broke my nose. I can see that. She broke my damn nose. They can't touch us. We can touch them. Oh, these ones can. Wait, you're saying that these beings, they can actually touch us? Now you know why they're a class 12. Congrats. Every Reaper needs to learn that at some point. So, how do we reap them? If they can touch us, we lose our main advantage to bring them to the underworld. The senior Reaper smiled again. Well, crossing over to an ornate cupboard, he threw it open to reveal a hanging row of gleaming scythes, each covered with intricate markings. Sometimes you gotta use a little elbow grease. Human M74, Mexico. Sir, you're a man of the cloth. Shouldn't you wanna... Sir, please. Come at me, you bony pendejos. If God wants me, he can come and get me himself. I'll send Saint Peter. Junior and Senior stepped through the portal, scythes at the ready. In front of them was the spirit of a very, very burly priest, surrounded by 5 groaning Reapers, aether streaming from their wounds. Looking around the humble room, Junior took in every detail. The priest's physical body lying in the bed, his rosary in his hands, his spare cassocks and his wardrobe, and the boxing trophies adorning his desk. Junior sighed and hefted his scythe. All right, sir. Whirling around, the priest's moustache jumped up and harumphed at the newcomers. More of you? Well, go on then. I've got all day. The two conscious reapers groaned in unison. Clearly, this day was gonna be a difficult one. End of story. Now you must excuse me in between the stories. I take a drink of stuff so that my voice and throat stays well hydrated. So there'll be a little pause in between each story. So there might be a drinking sound. About an hour and a half, 2 hours. Somewhere around there. I think Terry Pratchett's version of death would beat pretty much anybody. Can everybody see the story okay? The text, is it a decent size? Not too blurry or anything. On to number next. Drop the volume. Alrighty. Story number 6. A Jump in Progress. Written by Pelusium. So you can tell it's probably going to contain lots of swearing, but I'll try and edit it out. There are many things to fear in the universe. Many horrors, many pains, some fates that defy comprehension. But people go on, for these do not concern them. Sure, one could be swallowed by a black hole and be ripped to shreds by gravity, but is that really going to happen? Yes, you could be tortured for aeons by a serial killer, but kept alive by medical science only to experience more pain. But who does that anymore? Many people live happy, ignorant of the fates that can befall them, due to the sheer unlikelihood of any actually occurring. There is simply no danger to the common folk. When the humans arrived, it didn't change too much. Sure, there was a bit of cultural whiplash, but nothing too extreme. We exchanged greetings and some technological swaps. That was a mistake. Their technology was interesting, that's for sure. Humans certainly had an interesting approach to some things. But the problem lay when they got their hands on our technology. See, they were quite specialized in some areas. Quantum mechanics seemed neglected in favor of good old steel and chemicals. Food technology was abandoned in favor of archaic cooking. And perhaps most importantly, biological manipulation was completely ignored. See, if you take a race with little ability to do something and grant them nigh omnipotent power in its regard, we may have made a couple oversights. Holy Christ, it's glorious! One Australian on the station stood staring, arms out wide and a beer in his left hand, a rock in a sea of turmoil. Around him, hundreds of panicking civilians rushed behind him, seeking the exit. I stood still, panicking as my inevitable fate arrived. A couple 100 meters, bounding through the air in leaps, dozens of meters in the air. A death squad came. A couple of beings screamed as those at the back of the fleeing pack were squashed beneath the huge masses of muscles. We're all gonna die here. What are you doing? Run already! A passing co-worker called out to me, soon disappearing back into the crowd rush. I was standing on top of the bench, observing the chaos around me. My brain felt numb. This was all my fault. I'd greenlit the project. I was the one responsible for all of these casualties. They were dead because of me. Mother of mercy, take me now. I've looked upon the abyss and survived. The idiotic Australian called out over the crowd again, reveling in the sight before him. The poor fool was probably reminiscing about his crap hole of a country. The death horde came ever closer. I could almost see the gleam in their eyes as they charged forward. I'm gonna die here. The creatures passed the Australian, leaping over and around him. He stood there, gawking reverently as the monsters as they passed, and in a similar show of respect, they left him alone. They showed no such courtesy to the other civilians. More and more innocents were crushed as they beings fell from the air like a hammer of God, the odd being deciding to launch them into the ceiling with the powerful legs. They were catching rapidly. Soon they would be there. They caught up with the main bulk, and each leap was suddenly crushing 2 civvies at a time. The death toll was rising, while my own death rung ever louder. I had seconds at most before I would be crushed. But just as the captain goes down with the ship, I would die before I abandoned my post. Finally, they were within close enough range for me to counter. I removed a taser from my belt and shot the nearest creature. It fell to the ground, twitching before rightening itself moments later. So much for protecting the station. What sort of security guard was I? But then again, I thought, as the foremost creature loomed above me in the air, what sort of batshit scientist decides a good idea to mass clone kangaroos for meat? End of story. Australians are crazy nuts. It's part of their MO. Alright, I'm going to take a short 5-minute break just to get some more water and quickly pop to the bathroom. I'll be right back. I'll leave you with my lovely co-host, the playlist. We'll just crank up the volume a little bit and possibly move on to a more cheery song. There you go. Something a bit of a fantasy. And then be right back. And that, my friends, ends this clip of the live stream from the weekend. I hope that you enjoyed. As always, relevant links are down below in the description, and the rest of the videos will be released throughout the week. I hope to see you in the next stream this Saturday at 1700 GMT. And I hope that you have a fantastic one until then, and I will see you all in the next video. Cheers.